Okay, so we are now going to learn how to graph a line and determine the line's slope and y-intercept. So our title is Graphing Lines Using Slope and Y-Intercept. Please date your notes. And our first topic is to learn how to write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. And specifically the intercept that we're talking about is the y-intercept. The slope-intercept form is this. It's y equals mx plus b. You're going to dream about this equation because we say it all the time, y equals mx plus b. M is our notation for our slope. And remember, our slope is rise over run. It's how much it goes up and down versus how much it goes left and right. Our b is our notation for your y-intercept, where it crosses the y-axis. Okay? So go ahead, hit pause what you need to write down. I'm going to erase so we can start moving on. So pause so I can erase. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to determine your slope and y-intercept. Sorry, that was written very, very poorly. Let's try that again. Your y-intercept based on our slope-intercept equation. Okay, so here's our example. Example number 1. Y equals 2/3 x minus 5. And remember that it's in the format of y equals mx plus b. So our slope is the number before our x. So our slope here is a positive 2/3. And what's our y-intercept? Well, our y-intercept is where our b's are located. So my y-intercept is -5. It's not 5, it's negative. That sign comes with it. So it crosses the y-axis. One, two, three, four, 5. Somewhere down here, okay? We'll graph the slope later. Let's do another one. So example number 2. Y equals -3x minus 4. So here again is our slope-intercept form. So what's our slope? Our slope follows where our m would be, so it's -3. And my y-intercept is where my b would be. That would be -4. Okay, here's the trickiest one. What is the slope and y-intercept here? Ooh. Well, remember, there's an indivisible 1 here. So really, my slope is -1/1. And I probably should have put my slope here as -3/1 because we always want our slopes to be in fractions, so I apologize. Always have your slope in fractional form. And my b here, well, there's nothing here. Literally, there's an indivisible 0 that's been added to it. So my y-intercept is 0. Does that make sense? So we actually have our y-intercept of 0 over here. Okay, I'm going to give you two problems that I want you to try to find the slopes and intercepts for. So you are on your own for number 5 and for number 6. So let's do y equals 4x minus 2/3. Let's do y equals x. Okay, hit pause so you can figure it out, and pause when you want to know the answer. Okay, so our answer for this one, for number 5, is m equals 4/1, because we always want to write it as a fraction. And my y-intercept is -2/3. My y-intercept can be a fraction. Doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be a whole number. Now this one was tricky because we had some indivisible 1s and 0s. Because really my number here is a 1 and I have an intercept of 0 here. So my slope here is +1/1 and my y-intercept is 0. Correct? We're good? Okay. Now pause if you need to write it down because we're moving on to topic number 3. I'm going to give you the slope and the intercept, and we are going to write the equation and graph it. So graph and write equation. When given m and b. And that's usually how we write it. We say m equals and b equals. Okay? So here's my graph. Use graph paper. Do not do this. I don't have graph paper, so we're going to have to be very, very considerate of that. Okay? All right. What if I gave you a slope of 1 and a y-intercept of -2? We first need to put it in the equation of y equals mx plus b. Literally just plug them in. You get y equals 1x plus, y equals 1x minus 2. Correct? And because my slope is always written in a fraction, I'm going to write it as a fraction. And I'm going to put a positive here to help myself out because you're going to see why. So the first step that you want to do to graph is you want to graph your b. Always start where your y-intercept is. So my y-intercept's at -2. So I go to my y-axis and I go down to -2 and I put a dot here. And now I have a positive slope. So when it's positive, I go up. And I'm always going to go to the right. But if it's positive, I go up. So I'm going to go up 1 and over 1 to my new point. Up 1 and then to the right 1 for my new point. Up 1 and over 1 to my new point. You connect the dots with a straight line on your graph paper. You must put arrows because a line goes on forever. That's the definition of a line. It continues forever in both directions. And then we're going to label this line with the equation. You always want to label your lines. So this line is y equals x minus 2 because the 1 is indivisible. Okay? Seems reasonable, correct? Okay, I'm going to do one more with you, and then you're going to do one on your own. Let's now graph a negative slope. Again, always use graph paper. Always label your axes with x and y, and you need to have arrows at least on one of them. We'll put them on 4, but I at least need 2 arrows because the coordinate plane goes on forever. Let's do a slope of -2/3 with a y-intercept of 1. Let's first put that in equation in our slope-intercept form. So I get y equals negative 2/3 x plus 1. That seems simple, correct? Okay, what's our first step? Our first step is to graph your b. And then the second step is we are going to graph your slope. So my b is positive 1. So I'm going to go on the y-intercept. I'm going to go to where 1 is on the y-intercept, and I'm going to put a dot. Now, because this is negative, I'm actually now going to go down. Again, I'm always going to go to the right, but because I have a negative slope, I go down. I'm going to go down 2. So 1, 2, and then to the right 3. 1, 2, 3. Down 2, 1, 2, to the right 3. 1, 2, 3. You connect your points with a straight edge. You label your arrows because your line goes on forever. And then we label our line with the equation that this line is y equals negative 2/3 x plus 1. Does that make sense? Okay, let's do one more. You're going to try it on your own though. So we have a slope of negative 2 and a y-intercept of negative 3. Go ahead, graph it on your own. So hit pause now to see if you can do it. And then unpause, and I'm going to keep doing my thing. Remember to label your axes. So we are going to put this in y equals mx plus b form. So the equation of my line is y equals negative 2x minus 3. And then to graph it, I'm going to put a 1 underneath my 2 because my slope is always a fraction. And remember, I always graph my intercept first. So I'm going to go down to negative 3. Because I have a negative slope, I have to go down, but I always go to the right. So I'm going to go down 2, 1, 2, to the right 3. 1, 2, 3. Can you tell I'm in a 2/3 mood? So sorry about that. Oh, 2/1. I apologize. Yay, I didn't do a 2/3 again. So we're going to go to negative 3 because that's my y-intercept. I'm going to go down 2/1. So down 2, 1, 2 over 1 point. Down 2/1 point. We usually like to have 3 points. So connect your dots and label your line, and you should be done. Let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, I'll see you soon. Toodaloo.